Hey guys, just finished watching Gotham, Season 4, Episode 15, A Dark Night, The Sinking Ship, The Grand Applause. This episode was a fun episode. There's all kinds of stuff. I got like tons of different things that happened in this episode. So all kinds of stuff happened. It was really cool seeing it. Everyone pretty much had a part. Some people very little part, but a lot of people had a part in this, and a lot of stuff went down with that. And there was everyone had a tidbit in this episode. The only person we didn't see in this episode was Alfred. And I think I like playing with that idea. I would have liked to have seen him. Or I guess it's good seeing Bruce doing his own stuff and kind of coming back to himself. And I like playing with that idea. It's really cool with that. So we start off the episode with Riddler ends up finding Martine. I thought Martine would be a lot in this episode, but he wasn't really that much in here. And then we get the Narrows gets under new management, probably after so Lee got her hand crushed in by Sophia Falcone. Then we get Jim gives Harvey his badge back as he's trying to move up back in, but Harvey wants Jim to pay for his to pay after all this when everything's done, and which he does do later on at the end of the episode. And then Bruce kind of finds Selena in her kitchen. She's trying to find money in his place. She needs money to help. She feels bad for the guys that the father that Ivy ended up killing and stuff. And then we get. She wants to get the guy back, and then we get Sophia Falcone sends Zaz to kill Penguin, and when she finds out that Martine is gone and Penguin got Martine out, so Riddler gets him out. Selena and Bruce go after the fence, and they end up fighting and stuff with the guy, which is really cool seeing that with Bruce practicing his fighting. We see that Grundy got smart. And that was kind of cool seeing Grundy is smart. He's not Butch, and that's really interesting with that idea. I guess I like the idea of now having Butch back rather than having him just be a dull Grundy and stuff. But at the same time, it just kind of feels like they teased us with Grundy and then pulled it right from under a rug. I would have liked to have seen if they're going to do the Butch back, then wait till the end of this season instead of right now in this season, because I would like to have a full season, at least a full season of Grundy, and then at the end of the episode, in the last scene of Grundy in this season, tease it to be Butch is back, and then you have him back for season 5. I think that would have been the way to do it rather than pulling it from under us so early like this and not giving us too much Grundy episodes. And now we're back with Butch. So then we get Penguin ends up Jim ends up finding Penguin because they're looking for Penn, who's the bookkeeper for pretty much everyone now that they're finding out, and he's kind of working for everyone. And then when they find Penguin gives him Penn, and Jim lets him go, but Bullock doesn't let him go. And then Zaz shows up, hears about Penn. And then Lee ends up showing up and stealing the police Jim's car or Bullock's car. It's unclear who it was, one of the GCPD's car, and takes Penguin away type thing. And then we get Butch drops off Riddler for the sirens so that they can do whatever they want to him, and they end up pretty much just giving him to Sophia Falcone because they know that she'll kill him and stuff. And then Barbara starts to lose it. She starts having like these weird headaches, which we get that later on at the end of the, or she starts like fading and stuff, starts losing it later. And we get that at the end of the episode. Then we get Victor freeze. We get the Mr. Freeze who ends up freezing Penguin, so that, the other plan is to have him freeze Penguin. Penguin goes there, it's a Trojan horse, but explodes and takes out Sophia. But that ends up backfiring. We get Selena wants Bruce to give back the stolen stuff. And we never really get how that happens. It never ends. I think that's the last thing we see really with Bruce and stuff. We don't really see whether or not he goes and does that. Did Selena do it herself? Did she give back the stuff? Did she confront the people? Did she just leave the stuff there, knock on the door, and run? What happened? How did that happen? If Bruce did it? How did that happen? I feel like there's all kinds of ways to do that. Selena could easily just kind of break into them when they're not there, put the stuff back, or just put it on the kitchen table with a note saying, "I'm sorry," and then just kind of putting it back there. I don't see why she couldn't do that. Now, maybe they would have better security now that since they got broken in since that one time, but, or doing just knocking on the door and ditching and then type of thing. I don't know. We didn't get a resolve to that storyline. So then we get Jim ends up getting shot when he ends up going to find Penn. He's getting shot a bunch of times, and then he gets shot by Sophia herself. She ends up shooting him almost like, I lost track of how many times really. I think he got shot like 5 or 6 times. And then Lee shows up and gives Bullock her car since he's running out with Penn. That's the last really we see of Bullock and Penn until the end of the episode. And then Lee shoots Sophia in the head, and then it turns out that Sophia is just in a coma. When Jim wakes up, he wakes up in the hospital, and Bullock's there, and he says that Sophia's in a coma. And I find that one is just kind of like, I was hoping that she'd actually be dead and be done with it. But I guess they just want her in a coma so she can come back alive and still be the villain of this season. For the next few episodes we have left. Let's see, how many episodes do we have left here? I have IMDb open. We're on 15. So 17, 18, 22. So we still have a few more episodes. Coming up, about 5-7 episodes left. So that's really, I guess they want Sophia Falcone to come back from that. It'd be interesting to see where things go with this. Does Falcone, she killed her father, so, who's going to come after this? What's going to be the rest of the season if Sophia stays in the coma for now? I think if they're going to keep her in a coma, I think it'd be cool to keep her in a coma for good, keep her in a coma for a long time, a couple of seasons, dozens of seasons or whatever, and then bring her out of the coma way down there, 3 or 4 seasons or minimum, or 5 seasons, and then bring her back. I think that would be way better. That revenge time and stuff that she spent all that time, and then she would need a time to get back on her feet after a coma. I think that would be the way to do it, rather than just saying, she was in a coma for a few days, just to push it off till like episode 22 was when she wakes up, and then kind of that's it. She's awake, and then things kind of pick up from there. So it's just like having her in a coma is just a way to take the whole season and pause it, and then kind of play it again just for the last episode or the last couple of last 2 episodes type thing. And I think that would just kind of be annoying, rather than finishing it here, leaving it at here, doing something else for the rest of the season, rest of the 7 episodes, doing another story involving Jerome, which could be cool, having that finish the story, and then going into season 5. I think it could be cool to do that, and then saving Sophia Falcone for a long time, down the road type thing. I think that could be a cool way to do that. It's really going to be cool to see where things go with that, but hopefully they don't bring her back around this season at all, because that would be kind of annoying, is if they just pausing her storyline. Then we get Bullock, Jim tells Bullock that he wants to kind of confess to everything and all that, but Bullock says no, you have to live with this guilt for the city, because they have to keep the hero. So I think it's kind of it's cool, like the Dark Knight thing from the Dark Knight movie, where he's not the city not the city that people want, but the city that people need. I think that's really going to be cool to hear the hero that people need. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain type thing, and I think it really is cool to see that, and he's holding his guilt just like Bullock is. I think it's really going to be cool to play with that, on how that goes with him, and I think it's going to be cool to see that, and Bullock dealing with stuff like Bullock is dealing with. Then we get the end there, we get Lee gets back the arrows, which it was interesting the way she did it. She started hammering the guy's hand and stuff. Although I don't know why they really would keep the arrows like that. I just think that I don't know why she really needed to lose it, and why not have her lose it for a few episodes. But I guess they just wanted her to be able to do some stuff in here. So all in all, it was really fun seeing that. It was a really cool arc for her in this episode. And then we get the end. We see Barbara. She starts losing it again. And her hand starts glowing, and she starts seeing Ra's al Ghul. And the trailer for next week's episode, which it looks like she's starting to see him again, and it's unclear though, even with the trailers, is she actually seeing him there? Like, is she hallucinating him? Does she have a connection to him on the afterlife because of the Lazarus pit? How is things working with that? I think it's going to be cool to see how things continue on from here, and how that affects with Ra's al Ghul. It looks like it's going to be fun to see that. And it's also going to be interesting to see with Jerome finally coming back. We had an episode of him playing in prison. Now we have him here, which I wish he could just become a series regular. Or at least, maybe not a series regular, but a very recurring character. I think it would be really cool to see him around. I'd like to see him more. And there's some photos of him, some set photos with him with a big hat type thing. Very Jack Nicholson, Joker style, 1989 Batman style, so that really looks cool to see that. I think it'd really be fun to see where things go with Joker in the next episode, and hopefully it does look like he has become the Joker, so that'll be cool to see that and see where things go with him in the next week's episode. And it looks like Bruce definitely has a vengeance for him. It feels kind of, they're already setting that up, that whole dynamic where he's really set to do that. So I think it's really cool to see that. And yes, Bruce does have that dynamic and stuff. But last time when Jerome attacked Bruce because he was just a rich kid type thing. And it looks like in next week's episode that maybe Bruce goes after him. But I don't feel like they've set up that story. They've set it on. It makes sense for why Jerome would go after Bruce because he's Bruce Wayne and he's a rich kid, and why not? And he's the face of Gotham. He's the angel of Gotham and all that stuff. But having Bruce go after him just because he went after him a couple of times doesn't seem like it feels like his calling just yet. We'll see how they play it off in next week's episode. I know Bruce did get attacked by him and all that stuff, but it doesn't really feel like it would be Bruce's. Like, this is the same Bruce that just finished partying, and even Selena says it in this episode. Last time they talked, he was a jerk, and now he feels like responsible for the guy feels responsible for Jerome. And I just don't see that connection there. Hopefully they make some sort of bigger connection for it in the next episode for why Bruce really feels a need to do that. And I like obviously they need to eventually build that up, the story, the whole relationship between Joker and Batman and all that idea, and Bruce Wayne and him. But I just don't see it already there yet, as the way that it looks like they're portraying it in the trailer for next week's episode. I feel like it hasn't been built up enough for them to just jump to that conclusion already. So I feel like they need to earn that moment a little bit more before they do that in next week's episode. But they might earn it in the episode. Bruce might see something that sets him off, and that's how he kind of feels for them. So we'll have to wait and see where things go with that. So all in all, it's going to be cool to see where things go with that. I can't wait to see him back. It's really going to be fun to see him around and see how things are going to go with this episode and next week's episode. So all in all, this episode was a good episode. I'm going to give this episode probably, I would say, an 8.5 almost, or even a 9. Maybe even 8.8 or 8.9. And you know what? I'll give it an 8. 8.5. This episode was pretty good. I definitely can't wait to see where things go on from here. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Season 4, episode 15 of Gotham. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes this is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?